Hi guys, welcome back to Unfiltered Kitchen. We are back with another episode, which I'm so excited. I'm in a good mood.
I'm in a great mood.
I think it's because I just got my hair done.
I know I'm in a great mood.
Why are you in a good mood? Stop dragging stuff on the table.
Because I've been clocking dollars. The money tree has been good. And it's been a good month for me. Oh. You know, poker, work, romance. I mean, you know, my girl, you know, everything's good. And we getting ready to go to Belize. Got a couple homies riding with us. It's my sister's celebration.
Wait, I didn't know that. I thought you were going to Belize with just you.
No. Well, okay. So, you know, I've been trying to get to Belize for a number of years now.
Yes.
Pandemic slowed everything down. But it is my sister who's been just traveling like a mad dog the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Her and my mom, which I love to see my mom out and doing her thing. She said, Kyle, I want to celebrate my 50th, which is coming up April 9th. Okay. You know, out of the country. So she was thinking about some different places. I said, how about Belize? She said, I love it.
Really?
So she planned it all to Belize.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so who all is going?
You guys were actually invited too. You guys were invited. She said, I'd love to have your daughters come, but you guys are all going to be in your own trip.
Yeah. So it's you, your sister, T. Who else is going?
A couple of my friends and their wives. Okay. And then I've got, you know, my sister has other friends that are coming. Some are coming like my quasi aunties and then their children, which are my age. Okay. Because my quasi aunties are like my mom's age.
What are you calling them? Quasi
aunties.
What the hell is that?
So my mom had really good friends when she was growing up.
So you call them quasi?
No, I call them aunties.
Right, but who gave it?
Quasi is like means implied.
But
like
who came up with that word?
I don't know. I just said that.
Is that a real word or did you make that up?
No, that's a real word. Quasi means implied.
I think you made that word up.
No, quasi. It's a number. It's a word. We're not even recording.
Dad, we are recording. Okay. I'm going to ask ChatGPT when we're done with you.
Baby, I didn't make. Okay. Well,
okay, so you and your quasi aunties.
If you're gonna look bad if
I look it up.
If you test the word,
I'm testing it. I just never heard of anybody say a quasi. I'm going with my quasi aunt. How you spell it?
No. QU.
How do you spell it?
Now you're trying to embarrass me having me spell something.
I'm just saying that's the real test.
She knows I don't know how to spell. She knows I'm a terrible speller.
QU.
Well, I know behind every Q there's a U, then there's a vowel. QU quasi. Come on.
Dad, it's okay. You don't have to find it. I think that's really cool. How many days are you guys going for?
Quasi. We are going
He just asked Siri.
Yeah.
That shit said Cassie.
Yeah, I sure did. Okay, look, you look it up yourself. Quasi is a word. Somebody text us back that QUISE. I don't know.
You just sent that to that person. You said, Cassie, we are going for. Who'd you send that to?
This is business.
They're going to say, damn, who's Cassie? Can you just unsend it?
How do you unsend something?
Let me see. Right. They're going to say, he's talking to Cassie.
Yeah. Oh, so let me tell you about Cassie real quick. Cassie is Teresa's niece. Okay. So we go to her house. Okay, she's pregnant. She's like really.
Right. She just celebrated and turned 30.
Yes, it was her birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
And she might have the baby today.
Oh, she was in labor.
She I don't know if she was actually, she did have some labor pains. Uh-huh. And I think her plug is disintegrated or something like that. But
yeah.
She's having contractions even yesterday. So maybe the baby comes today. So maybe she has a birthday baby.
Oh, were you breathing with her?
No, I wasn't breathing with her. But what I wanted to say is I was in LA yesterday. As soon as I came home, my wife was like, come on, pack up, let's go. We got to go to Cassie's birthday party. And I was really not tired, but I just got, sometimes those drives are an hour and a half.
Yeah.
In the traffic, But anyway, went, but has had a really good time. Really nice family. Her mom, Esperanza, and her dad, Odie by short, or Junior. It was really nice. And the guy that, she's, actually, I don't think Cassie and Anthony are married, but they've been together for quite a while. Mm-hmm. Anthony's really a nice young man.
That's good.
He's a sheriff. His dad was a sheriff. Ooh. She's a sheriff now. Ooh. Yeah, they're all
just a bunch of popos.
But they were cool in the game. I mean, me and the dad were talking for a minute, and he's kind of saying all the bad publicity
that police get.
And I said, it may be true, but let me tell you something though. as soon as you're in trouble, they the first one you call.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, somebody, knocking on your door, you walk into a robbery, they the first one you call. So.
And I think that there's good cops.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I think it's okay. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you checked out Family Reunion episodes?
Yeah, I thought you was going to ask me something like, have I ever been arrested?
What?
I was holding my breath like, please don't ask me that.
Why would I ask you that?
I don't know, because we were just talking about the popo and all that. You went from good cops to the Family Reunion.
I just thought about good cop, good people, bad people. Yeah. I don't know how I got on Family Reunion.
Family Reunion, I did watch the first episode.
We're in Colombia.
Which was rough to watch.
I'm scared to ask you why, because I already know the answer.
Yeah, I think it's kind of common theme that some people don't need to drink. I mean, I know plenty of people that just don't need to drink.
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about Belize. The other day we were celebrating my brother's birthday at my mom's house. We were talking about the trip to Belize. My younger sister, who's beautiful, I love her. She was talking about, can you bring me a bottle to Belize of some of that tequila I like? And I was like, no, I don't think so. You're not one that needs to, some people just aren't.
Some people, alcohol doesn't sit well.
They don't understand it. It doesn't, it changes their character, and sometimes people don't even recognize it.
Yeah.
So I think
that's what you noticed on the show.
That is what I saw very prominent. And it was really kind of hurtful because, I know, I'm trying not to name names, but
Mr. Wharton,
I know Miss Taylor also.
Yes.
Okay. And I felt bad for her. I felt bad for him also.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it represented him well.
It didn't. And I don't think that it fully represents him in real life, like away from TV version of him, like the reality of how he acts in real life. So I feel like knowing him in real life, when people are like, berating him and Tay on the internet and stuff, it's hard because you want to come out and defend, but it's also like, it's easy for people to say, well, look at what he just did. But it's like, that's not him on an everyday basis.
Well, this is the first time I've known now for 6 years, almost 7 years. I've never seen that side of him.
Yeah.
So that's why I personally would attribute a lot of it to
alcohol.
The alcohol. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's why I say he's probably one that just doesn't need to drink.
Yeah, I could see that.
I felt bad for Taylor, and that was really the overwhelming deal with the episode. It started very nice place. Glad to see. I'm glad to see travel. Nice place. Looked like you guys were jamming and gelling well, and then in came the hurricane.
Yeah. But I think that not to defend his character, like to defend what he did, because I do think he acted a plumb fool. Like it is what it is. I think that what makes me angry is that, like you said, you've never seen him like that 6 years. But all it takes is that one thing for people to see, and then that's all they see from you anymore. Like everything else you've done just goes out the window. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the part that I don't like, is that now it's like, oh, he's an alcoholic. It's like, no, the alcohol just didn't mix right. Like, I don't think it has to be that. You know what I mean? Like, I just think there's, like you said, there's some people where alcohol just doesn't sit right. Does that make you a bad person? No, but it should make you understand that maybe the next time you shouldn't drink. Yeah.
Now, there was one thing, if I could talk to him, and I think this was in the second episode. Okay. When they were with the coach and kind of talking over what had happened the previous night or day. And then he was saying, he was admitting to some of his faults. And I don't know exactly what he was saying, but, look, I realized I'm selfish. I realized, I was in bad character, some things. But if I could talk to him in that moment, I would have said to him, it's one thing to realize these things. Okay. But it's different to be a man and start to change these things that you're realizing. Just because you're admitting that this is the way you are doesn't make it okay. Especially when you have a wife and kids. Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's a point where all men moving from being a kid or a boy or a young man to a man makes a change, and it's in realizing the difference in what their status is. Yeah. When you become the teacher and provider of kids and the provider of your household and the man in your marriage.
You move differently.
Your sway is different.
Yeah.
You say, whatever I was doing, I got to put that away because that's not appropriate in this situation that I'm in now as a man. Mm-hmm. See, I got away with a lot of dumb shit as a kid.
Yeah.
But when I became a man, there was changes that I had to make. You have to make them. Now, some people make them.
Now, do you think that maybe it was the environment, it was the show aspect? Like, I think all those things play a role in the character that we got from that episode.
That could be. That could be. See, I've never really watched him too much on The Challenge.
Yeah.
You know, maybe an episode here, maybe never through a season. So I don't know how he
acts on there. I honestly haven't watched The Challenge since I've done The Challenge. So that had to be 1,000 years ago. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the hard part with this show in particular is that it does follow your relationship. So when there are arguments between you and your partner there that are about your relationship, then everyone has an opinion on your relationship. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's where the hard part comes in. It's like, now I have all these people online telling me about myself or telling me about my man or whatever. And it's hard. Like, it's hard to, I know it had to be rough for Taylor to wake up that next day or even that night and receive the messages of how bad Corey acted, when it's like, I know she already knows. You know what I mean? Like,
where were we?
Family reunion.
Okay, but did you notice the shirt change?
Why'd you change your shirt?
I'm getting my Belize wardrobe all together.
So you came to show us the outfits that you're going to wear in Belize?
Yeah.
I hate you.
And let me just do, so can you guys read that?
It says they'll edit this part out.
So now, if anyone, first of all, you have to be coming to Thailand with us. Anyone that's coming to Thailand with us that can tell me what that is from, mm-hmm. I got your dinner. I got to, we're going to drink or we're going to eat. We're going to do something.
We're going to do something together?
Yes, I got you covered. I got you.
Oh, my God. Okay, so besides the Corey drama, what else did you take from this new season?
Well, here's I think I said this, but I'm going to say it one more time. What I'd like to see Corey do is take all those things that he can evaluate and make a change based on those things. Mm. Because he's not a teenage kid anymore.
I don't know if anyone has ever told him about like himself in that way, like from a parental standpoint.
Well, I was, I mean, look, all these, the young men, Mez, Corey, what's your guys name? Zach. All of them, I watch, mm-hmm. and I want the best for all of them. And I get to be in Zach's ear probably the most. Corey when I see him. But generally, I've never seen Corey step out of line like this.
Yeah.
So I really want to kind of just grab him and hug him and whisper in his ear. And if he don't get the whisper, just sit him down and tell it to him, straight.
Yeah.
I mean, it was messy. Some of the things that he said on air mm-hmm. don't need to be said. Not when your woman's there. It's almost like he was having a guy's day.
Yeah.
But it wasn't guy's day.
It's couples trip.
Yes. Yeah. So,
I think he had a rough episode, and I was there, and it was rough to watch. As a friend, it's rough to watch, and it's rough when I'm friends with both of them. Like, Taylor and I have developed a friendship over the years, and it was hard to watch. And I want the best for them as individuals and as a couple. And I think, now it's getting played out on national TV, and that's tough. It's tough when you put yourself out there, like genuinely put yourself out there. Like, I feel like Taylor is very genuine about mm-hmm. putting herself out there. Mm-hmm. And then, the world is kind of against you. It's a hard place to be in. So I just think if you guys are watching Family Reunion, to, give everyone grace that puts themselves out there on the shows.
Is the social media, are they beating Are they beating Corey up?
Oh, yeah.
And are they sending the messages to?
Oh, yeah.
So I feel bad for it because I remember when they were beating Zach up, but sending you the messages.
Yep.
So
it's the same thing right now.
So you know what? Somebody out there, send Miss Taylor some words of encouragement.
Yeah.
And it can or does not have to have anything to do with Corey, but just send her some good vibes, some words of encouragement, because it's social media does beat you up. It really does.
Social media is so incredibly weird. Like, it has amazing like positive things to it, and then on the other side, it has like a really dark place to it. And I feel like I've realized that I do not like Instagram. Like,
hey, do you remember that young man that was on, I'm assuming it's a young man. He was on your page. I happened to run across him. He was saying some,
how we're the worst race in the world. Yes.
Have you ever heard back from him?
You know, I think I blocked him eventually. There's certain people that I leave. I try not to block a lot of people.
I invited him to come over to my page.
I hope you did.
And I think he did, but the thing was, it was difficult having a conversation with him because everything was very short when he replied. Mm-hmm. You know,
but some people don't expect you to respond, and then when you do, they're just like, nah, fuck you. Like, they don't know how to. They're not ready for a response. So that's like the hard part. I feel like sometimes people, and I've learned over the years, like, with every negative comment, not to respond to everything, and sometimes not to respond at all, sometimes just to block people. But I was talking about this yesterday on my Snapchat, that it makes it hard when you do put yourself out there, you do share your life, your family, your lifestyle, and then, you know, you put yourself out there and then people just come back with just nasty things to say about you, like your body, or why do your boobs do this, or, you know, like that type of stuff. I just don't. I would never go on someone else's page and comment something about their body. I just don't understand what the point is.
Well, some people don't have enough to do. I mean, and some people live vicariously through other people, and some people are jealous of other people vicariously. You know, but here, it's like I've already told you, you got to take, I mean, you decide to go into this field, into the public arena. Mm-hmm. You know, when I go and I look at your page from time to time, which I do, which I always have, and make sure you're not saying anything crazy, and make sure nobody's saying anything crazy to you. Sometimes it's too much, I can't even monitor it. Like when the heat is really on about something, then I just, you know. But I tell you all the time, so you're going to get a certain amount of people that are just going to be negative.
Yeah.
But never, even when you've complained about, when I look, it is proportionately the negativeness is down here, where the encouragement or the up is
the
like
positivity is always better than the negativity.
Yeah. So you just, you know, if you're in this field, this is something you have to go with. It's just part of the flow. You try to monitor it or you try to ignore it the best you can.
Yeah, I agree. I just think some days it's easier to ignore than other days.
Well, that might be. That might be. Yeah. But that's why, well, see, I don't know. I'm not in it like you. You know, I get to come in here and play. You know, I'm not making a living. I'm enjoying living.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, what do you think about that episode? You want to give us any sneak peeks on today's?
So today's episode, what happens?
Oh, I know what happens.
What?
The Florida girl. What's her name? Mackenzie.
Mackenzie's back. Mm-hmm.
And does that? Oh, can you say how it goes?
I mean, by the time this airs,
it'll already
be out. So yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay.
I think on this episode, it teases a lot that she comes back and then she finally walks through the door at the end of the episode. Oh,
so there's really no interaction with her this week.
There's no interaction between the two of us. Right? Two of us? Yeah, there's no interaction between the two of us, but it shows like some backstory. It shows me talking about what had happened a few years ago.
Do they make it nasty? The editing, does it?
They make it very like dun dun dun. Like they make it like
I'm gonna tell you,
like they clip to her and then they clip to me and then they clip to her and then they clip to me, and the whole time we were eating dinner, like when she was walking in. Mm-hmm. So I'm just eating the whole time. I was eating some soup, and every clip it's like it just seems so like
past clips that they've
Yeah, they splashed them together, but it just seems so daunting. Like my heart is racing watching it, and I was there, but it's just like, what's about to happen? And I know what's about to happen. I was there.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it is just so, and it's like the background music that they put with it. It's a little bit dramatic for me, but it's TV, so it's supposed to be dramatic. Yeah. But I do think that it shows, like, how do I say it? Like it shows Kay and Ty talking at the pool about how, how Jade and I did invite everybody on the trip.
I saw that on the drive over here today.
And that is true. Everybody is invited, including Mackenzie. And to be honest, I was asked if I was going to be comfortable with her coming. And I said yes. Like, it's been 2 years. I hope she's grown in 2 years. I've grown in 2 years. So it was never like, no, she has to stay where she's at and I'm going to stay where I'm at. It was just like, yeah, if she wants to come, she can come. Like, I'm not going to be one to say no.
Yeah.
And I also did hope that she has grown in 2 years. That is the hope.
And that you've grown in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. I think who I was 2 years ago, I would hope that I've matured a little bit more, grown up a little bit more, made a little bit more money, like done more things than 2 years ago. I heard
the story. You can verify if this is right or wrong. That you actually apologized for something the other day.
Oh, I did.
You guys don't understand how big that is. So maybe you have grown in the last couple of years.
I did. I woke up. It was the first thing I did. I apologized to Zach really fast.
Yeah.
Before he could even tell me good morning, I did. But that was my...
So wait, come on.
No.
Let me just tell everybody kind of what's going on.
Can we finish talking about this?
I'm making it real short.
No.
I'll come back to it. Don't worry.
Oh my God.
Go ahead. Okay.
So I'm trying to think what else I got from the episode. I do think that this is the part that I would, if anyone, like, I hate talking about it because I feel like it was so long ago. But what I don't think that people realize is that when it happened 2 years ago.
When what happened?
When the whole Mackenzie drama happened.
Okay.
I think a lot of people think that I was upset with her over her comment of what she had said, calling the VP colored, where I think that was kind of blown out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
I never, when it happened, I think it almost looks like I was mad at her and I reached out to the network or said all these things that I wasn't going to work with her because she said this comment. And that was not the case. Like, I didn't reach out to her when she made the comment. She actually reached out to me because I was the only Black classmate at the time. And kind of was like, help me understand like what I did wrong. That was more of her approach.
So who was the one that told her comment was wrong? That wasn't you.
The internet did.
Oh, the internet did.
Yeah, I never said anything about her comment being wrong on the internet.
Okay, sorry.
She had called me, or she had DM'd me, asked if we can get on a call to talk about what was wrong within her comment.
Okay.
And I think in her defense that she was prompted to do so because I was the Black one on the show.
And this... If you were the only person she was comfortable in reaching out to, then
right,
she's done nothing wrong.
Right. So initially that first conversation that we did have was a genuine conversation of me explaining to Mackenzie how that comment could be portrayed as prejudice, racist, whatever you want to call it. And we were on the phone for a while talking about it. And I could tell like she knew nothing about like things that to me everyone should be educated on, like segregation or like Jim Crow, or that there was a water fountain that said that said colored versus white only, like stuff like that she was just like very oblivious to, or just like I didn't know,
which is not that uncommon.
Which I 2 years later I now realized that, but back then I was listening and I'm like, how do you not know this?
Well,
where I now realize that a lot of people don't know these things. So I would say that initial conversation was not bad. It got bad at the end when the final statement was kind of like the comment that she had made about how like she was surprised that I would take the call because her husband thought I would be an angry Black.
So then it went left. Stereotypical things came up.
Then it came, and then I'm like, girl, we just had this whole convo, and then you say some shit like that. So that I think really made the tension between us grow. And then I tweeted something about ignorance is pervasive, and she was upset at that. tweet.
And that may necessarily
that was both sides.
Her. Yes.
I mean, it was definitely for her. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
okay.
It was definitely like it was a better way of me saying you're ignorant. It was like, I said ignorance is pervasive, meaning like ignorance is on both sides. It's not just a white people problem, it's an everybody problem. Okay. Like, there's plenty of ignorant black people. There's ignorant Indian. Everybody can be ignorant. But it was definitely like a backhanded comment to her.
Okay.
Like, and I can admit that.
Wasn't necessary.
It wasn't necessary. Yeah. But it was made. And then after that, we had gone back and forth on DM, and that turned ugly. And then she started to do those lives. She would go on live. And this is where the real problem for me came. Before all this was, tucked under and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the problem with me then came is when the network did get involved, and they asked me to sit on calls with her with Color of Change, which is like a foundation that like helps corporations navigate like racial conversations. And to me, why do I have to sit on the call with her? That was my mindset back then of like, why do I have to sit on the call just because I'm the black castmate? Like, I didn't make the comment. For what? Like, I don't need somebody to sit on the call.
Yeah, but they're doing a filming.
But no, this wasn't filmed.
No, this was just for improvement?
This was just for improvement. And they were like, well, we think like you should sit on the call with her so she's more comfortable. I'm like, but for what? Like, we've met one time in passing for like 2.5 seconds. I'm not a friend. I'm not anyone that she knows. So to me, it was like, I felt like I was just being used because I was black.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree.
They didn't ask anybody else to sit on the call.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't agree with what you're saying.
Oh, wait, well, then what don't you agree with?
Well, I would have gladly sat on the call.
I did.
Gladly, I said.
Oh. I didn't.
The reason I say gladly is because, look, if I can be part of...
Hey, I got on a few calls, and I think the first one I was open to.
Okay.
I think after that one, when... it just seemed like we were talking to someone who wasn't ready to be receptive. I think that's when I started to shut down.
When you say somebody that wasn't ready to be receptive, referring to Mackenzie?
I didn't feel like on the calls she was ready to receive what Color of Change was talking about. No.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to, I understand what you're saying. I'm going to go back to the young man. I'm calling him a young man. I don't know. The troll that was on your deal.
Okay.
Do you know how many conversations I went back and kind of had with him?
Yes.
Okay. Several.
Yes.
And mine were long, lengthy. Okay?
Yes, they were.
Because I was trying to explain to him, because obviously he or she doesn't know what I'm thinking or what I know. So I was taking the time to try to give them a better understanding.
Okay.
Now, I fully understand that it's not like I can say something and all of a sudden the lights is going to go off.
Yeah.
And they're going to understand.
Yeah.
Because he didn't. He'd come back and he'd still make a comment. I said, well, that's okay. I told him at one time, I told the listening audience, the reading audience, I said, I'm okay with the guy not agreeing or hearing me, because he wasn't being rude. Mm-hmm. He was just dark in his opinion of black people. Uh-huh. But he wasn't name calling anything like that.
Yeah.
So I kept trying. Okay. So even like when you're talking to her or any other situation that may come up, education or enlightenment does not always happen in the snap of a finger.
And I think
it takes
where
time,
my head
over time
was that it was going to happen in the snap of a finger.
Yeah, so that doesn't happen. So you weren't being realistic.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
When I look back, I wasn't being realistic.
And now, present tense, we can see that whatever social media or you or whatever conceived her to be in terms of her racial equality or inequality or prejudices probably weren't true, because from what I understand, she's got a long-term boyfriend that is like maybe my color. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Mm-hmm. So probably whatever people think she was thinking about in her Southern way.
I don't even think she knew what. I don't think her intention behind using that word was...
Well, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it was just more so of like ignorantly said rather than like malicious intent.
Ignorantly, innocently ignorant.
I think that 2 years ago, I was very upset at the way things went down and how I was dragged into it because I was Black. That was a part of my frustration with it. Was like no one else was dragged into her comment but me because I'm Black. Kate didn't get, Macy, Amber. No one else got asked about it or dragged into it.
Kate and Amber, they can't represent Black people.
Right. So when she made the comment, it was automatically like Cheyenne somewhere pissed off about her comment when it was like, wait, why? I get why you guys think that I'm mad, but also I got dragged into something.
So her initial comment just went right by you. No big deal.
I didn't see the comment until people started sending me the comment and saying comment on her comment. And then I got dragged into it when she called me. And then I got dragged into it when the network asked me to sit on the call with her. And then it just became more and more and more. Right, gotcha. And then when I really got upset was when she was going on live, talking about the situation, crying. And then I started getting harassed. I had this lady come to my house.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
On 51st Street?
Yeah.
Sitting across the street?
Yeah, I had people calling right at school. Mom was getting calls via at work. Like, it became harassment where I was like frustrated because I'm like, you don't understand that by you doing something as simple in your head as going on live and crying about how I'm not being receptive to you is really affecting my real life.
I said, I love you. And she didn't say, I love you back. Was that one?
It was that. After that, it just went crazy. Yeah. And that was my frustration. I'm like, you're not understanding that by you doing these things that in your head aren't malicious and are... In your head aren't malicious. Yeah. Like, I don't think she had any malicious intent with going on live and crying about me. Or
when you say going on live...
Like she would go live on Instagram and explain how she was apologetic and upset and how I wasn't accepting of her apology and all these things. But I don't think that she realized that when she would do that, it would like enrage this community that would then come and harass me. And it became a real life problem. And when I say real life, like, people coming to my house, that's real life. That's no longer like show life, you know? So there's a clip that plays, that's already played where I say, understand the power of your words. And that's what I don't think she understood. I don't think she understood that when she was doing this, it was affecting my real life. Like people calling my kid's school is affecting my real life. To back you up it's frustrating. So I did explain that to her back then. And it was just kind of like, not understood or heard. And that's when I did have to get a lawyer involved because it became dangerous for my real life. So I feel like that is the disconnect of us present time in the show right now, where it ended 2 years ago. It ended on having to go through a lawyer because it got dangerous. Like, people coming to your house is dangerous.
So you got to stop and...
I did a cease and desist, and then we had to like escalate that because every time she would mention my name, something would happen. Calls, people showing up, more calls, emails. Like, it just became harassment from these random people. And you have to think about 2 years ago, the time that this was happening.
This is during the pandemic.
People have nothing better to do. The heightenedness of Trump. Like, this is when everybody was going crazy over all these racial things. So the timing of it also played a huge role where people really felt really felt like they can vocalize how they feel about Black people. Right.
Regardless of what would happen from their words being...
Yes. So I think...
You ever met her cowboy husband?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I don't think I have.
He was a cowboy.
Yeah. But, I'm happy that she came on the show. I am. I do think that everyone is allowed to grow from things, including herself.
Including yourself?
Myself and her. Okay. And I think that was the biggest thing, was that a lot of people were looking at me like, do you want her to come? Do you not want her to come? And I'm like, it doesn't make a difference to me if she comes or not, but she is allowed to. I think everyone is allowed to make mistakes and to grow from them. And I think everyone was looking at me like, are you sure? Like
yeah, no problem.
I'm like, yeah, like what's the worst that's gonna happen? Because to me, the worst already happened. Somebody showing up to your crib is already bad. Like, it can't get any worse than that. So I would say next week's episode is going to be more telling, because we do sit down and have a conversation.
Okay.
And
can we ask how that goes? Or is that against the TV policy?
I'm gonna say,
just hold on till next week. I'll bail you out of this one. We'll just wait till next week.
Yeah, because I really don't remember all in all. But it did take a few conversations for us to get to a point where we could have a conversation that made sense. Because I think in the beginning, I was still very angry. And I feel like that is something that I can say, is that when as much as I said, I don't care if she comes or not, I do think that there was a sense of anger that I was still holding on to, that I wish I would have released and really I wish I would have really, as much as I was acting like I didn't care if she came, I wish I really felt like that, where I think that I was saying it, but at the back of my head, I did view her as somebody that did put
some drama
and danger around me. So I think it was still like, I had a sense of like anger towards this person where I thought I had forgiven her already.
Okay. But because of the situation that fostered out of all that, you still had some resentment.
Resentment is a better way to where I still feel like I held a lot of resentment, and looking back, I thought I was over it. Like, I thought I got over it already because it's been so long.
Well, time sometimes heals, sometimes not. But I like the fact that you are saying that you're giving her an opportunity to grow and giving yourself an opportunity to grow over the 2 years that you haven't seen each other. Yeah. And that maybe you both look at it and can have a conversation about it now that might differ from your previous conversation.
Yeah. And I think that's what I was trying to tell myself. But I think it was easier for me to put on this face of like, I don't care. She's here, she's not here. It doesn't make a difference to me, rather than putting the energy towards like, let's have a conversation and be positive. I don't know. You get what I mean? Like, I think I still held on a lot of like resentment.
Well,
up until this, like in this episode, I think I was still very much mad. Yeah. Where I thought I forgave her. I really did. But.
Well, this may surprise you.
What?
I've always kind of liked Mackenzie.
It doesn't surprise me. She's not a bad person. Like, she's not, like, she has a very fun personality.
Yeah, and she's got a lot of energy.
She's a lot of energy. Like, she's not a bad person. I don't think that she's a bad person. I think that she said something and then it just spiraled into this mess.
I think it was that cowboy she was living with.
I think so too.
I was just kidding. Really?
Oh. Okay.
It might be. I mean, I don't really know him.
Never mind.
I always liked her, the way she treated her dad. Mm-hmm. You know, particularly after her mom passed.
Yeah, I did.
And then I liked her adventurous posture of moving to Florida.
Yes.
When she went there, and I'm assuming, if I remember, she started a dance studio or an exercise thing. You know, I like that. Yeah. I like that aspect of her. That go get them, you know, type personality. Yeah. And that's about all I really know of her. You know I went and looked at a couple of her social stuff. Mm-hmm. You guys were going through it. Mm-hmm. But, I didn't see anything crazy. You know, she's flipping around the floor.
That sounds about right. That literally sounds like her. Yeah.
She's always dancing.
Yeah, she is. She does not stop moving, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I say I kind of like her. You know?
Yeah. I am interested to see next week's episode, because I do feel like this week was left on such a teaser note. And this is the one thing I'm going to say that I don't like about doing reality TV. I love a lot of things about it. But one of the harder things about it is that you constantly relive things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's the hard thing about it.
That is difficult.
So even right now with this airing, I've received a lot of like nasty messages because it's like back. You know what I mean? Like everyone is back and everyone has a comment or an opinion, or you handled this wrong or she handled this wrong, but it's just really, really negative. And I feel like people don't understand, like, number one, we dealt with this 2 years ago. Now we're back dealing with it again. And that part is hard. And I know if I'm receiving hateful things, I know that there's a possibility that she's receiving hateful things. And I feel like none of us in this situation were perfect. And just to be mindful of the things that you send people.
You know, it's almost like, you know, it's appreciated that you are a fan or a follower, but it kind of amazes me as a person on the outside looking in, how many people comment and the type of things that they say.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, you know, my thing, you know, I was always taught, if you don't have anything nice to say, then you don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
No. Now I understand if something comes up that is really controversial or something that really hits home to you, and you don't dig it and you want to speak on it, I got you. But sometimes we're just talking about kind of bullshit subject matter
stuff.
You know, yeah. It's like, really? I mean, some of the people I sit back and I'm reading, I'm like, really, you just spent time of your day
to write
this down?
You really wrote this shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
but I think I just say that to say,
it's
like,
almost like get a life.
But it's like, if anyone is a supporter of me, do not attack Mackenzie thinking that you were supporting me.
Oh, yeah. That's not how we roll.
I think that in this situation, everybody should just let it play out and just wait for that. And you know, it's easier said than done. And I love the fact that people watch the show. I love the fact that people have opinions on it. It comes with the territory. But, you know, I think at the end of the day that everybody makes mistakes in their life. Ours are just televised.
Yes.
So just imagine about all the mistakes that you've made in your life that aren't televised. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. All right. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys tune in this week. It's probably...
we're really going to do something live?
Yeah, we're going to go on live.
Well, since they won't see this until afterwards...
They'll see this tomorrow.
Can you commit to doing a live all season long?
Like every episode?
Yes. Then they have something to look forward to.
I am actually... Yes, I will go live.
Okay. I might
skip a few, but I will go live as much as possible.
Okay. Then I'll come hang out with you one day.
All right. Well, we're going to get off here and get on Instagram Live because it's about time. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope that you do not take anything out of context. This is not to go and restart, bash, do any of that. It's just a conversation about what is airing.
Yeah, please, guys. We are just having a conversation.
Yeah, it is not to start anything at all.
Our conversations are meant to be fruitful, not revengeful or, you know, hashing up old stuff. Plus, what did I say? I said I kind of like the girl.
I am going to save my opinion for the next few weeks. And
when we roll back to the beginning of our conversation, because we were talking about something different, and I like the young man too. I like everybody.
I like everybody.
Everybody has, I mean, look, there's some people I don't like. You don't want to be on that.
All right. Okay, guys, don't forget to follow us on Unfiltered Kitchen on Instagram and on YouTube. And we will be back next week with another episode.